Hi, my name is Anita. I'm a registered pharmacist in Indonesia. How to be a pharmacist in Indonesia? I will divide the answer into two parts. The first one is if you are Indonesian and you wanted to take the study inside Indonesia. And the second one is if you are Indonesian and you take your study outside Indonesia. So if you want to study inside the country in Indonesia, first you need to take the bachelor degree of pharmacies. It will take 4 years of study. After that, you need to continue your study and take the professional degree subject. It will take 1 year. So the total will be 5 years of study. But before you be a registered pharmacist, you need to pass an exam as a pharmacist, national exam. We call it UKAI, Ujian Kompetensi Apoteker Indonesia. In English, that would be like Indonesian Pharmacist Competence Exam. You need to pass the exam first, and after that, you need to take an oath and be a pharmacist in Indonesia. The second case, if you are Indonesian but you take your study outside Indonesia. Disclaimer, this story is based on my friend's experience, so you need to double check on my answer in this case. Okay, so imagine after you graduated from high school, you go outside Indonesia and you take a bachelor degree outside Indonesia. Let's say you study in Australia or Japan or I don't know where. And then you wanted to come back to Indonesia and work here in Indonesia. The first thing that you need to do after you come back to Indonesia is you need to contact the community or the committee, the Educational Pharmacist Committee in Indonesia. And then you try to tell them about your background. And basically, they will see your transcript and then they will match it with the subject that we learn for Indonesian pharmacy student. They will compare that. And if they think that you already get every material, every subject that Indonesian pharmacists need to do, you then need to take 1 year of the professional degree subject. And after that, the rest is the same. You need to pass the exam first and then you take an oath. Basically, that's it. And you can be a registered pharmacist in Indonesia. And you now can use your registered pharmacist to work in Indonesia. Job opportunities as a pharmacist in Indonesia. I will say the opportunities is endless. So you can work basically in everywhere. So pharmacist, I think it's a good option for someone who wanted a stable income in the future. I will divide this part into two again. This part is if you want to work not linear with your degree. And this part, if you want to work linear with your degree as a pharmacist. Let's discuss this first. Because you don't use your degree for your work, basically you can do everything that you want. You can make a cake shop or you can open a car showroom, entrepreneur, I don't know. You can do everything that you want. You don't need a degree anyway. For the job opportunity, if you wanted to do with the linear with your degree, the possibility is still endless. You can work in a hospital and also in the community setting of pharmacies. You can work in a drugstore. You can work in a clinic. You can work in a beauty clinic, basically everywhere. And Indonesian public health, we call it puskesmas. And also you can work for the government. You can work for Indonesian FDA, Badan POM Indonesia. It's like the Food and Drug Association here. And you can also work for Ministry of Health. Not just that, you can also work in industrial setting. I think this is the difference between, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. In Indonesia, pharmacies has a big impact on industrial thing, including drug or medicine industrial, herbal medicine, cosmetic, chemical industry, food. You can work everywhere, basically. Let's talk about the salary. So if you are a registered pharmacist in Indonesia and you work in industrial setting or in the community setting, like drugstore and then hospital, and if you are fresh graduated, the average salary will be the minimum wage standard plus 20 until 40%. So the conclusion is a bit higher than the standard minimum wage. Of course, the salary is not a fixed number. It can be increased based on your experience. How to choose the university to study as a pharmacist? So in Indonesia, we can divide the university into two things, like the public university and the private one. Of course, the private one will cost you more money to study there. But in terms of choosing the university, I prefer to choose the university that has good accreditation. So in Indonesia, I don't know about another country, like the government, divided the class of the university based on their accreditation. So we have university with A grade, B, and C. The best one is the A. So if I can give you advice, you need to choose the university that has A grade for Faculty of Pharmacy. So you can get the best education from the best lecturer, and you can get the best connection while you study there. Okay, so that's all from now. If you have any questions or any suggestion, any advice for me, you can type it on the comment, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.